Hello and thanks very much for joining me. I'm Dean the Vaping Biker, and today we're going to be looking at the Triad from Asmodus, the little RDA from Asmodus that has got a few people talking just because it is so different when it comes to the deck. I'm going to do the RDA by itself, and then I'm going to follow up with a review of the Genesis tank, just because there's kind of a little bit of a difference in the up close, and I want to try and keep these reviews fairly short and sharp and to the point. So before we go any further, let's have a vape and then we'll dive down and have a look close up. There is some cloudage available. Come on then. Alright, so here we are with the Triad. Now this is how it comes in one of these little bags rather than a box. Not entirely sure how this is going to play out when it comes to shipping, but that's how it looks. Little funky little bag there. Anyway, in here we've got the RDA, which we'll look at in a second. We've also got a spare drip tip. Let me just turn the brightness up a little bit just so we can see a little bit better what we're doing. We've got this, drip tip going on here, which is huge, and we've also got in here a Allen key, some grub screws, and some spare O-rings. Now, this packaging here, I'm not a fan of at all, because as soon as you open this up to take out the Allen key to build it, for instance, then obviously there's no way of closing that up with no box or anything. You just put that in there, and then the next time you lift this up, you're going to lose grub screws everywhere. So I think that's a bit of an oversight, but there you go. Anyway, here we are with the RDA itself. It's fairly kind of plain on the outside. We've obviously got these massive great air holes that we'll talk about in a second, but underneath we've just got Asmodus. It's kind of a I don't really know how they've done this, because I don't think this is laser etched. I'm not entirely sure, but it kind of bleeds out a little bit, if you like, and it's not the cleanest look to it. We do have a 24 karat gold plated pin there, sitting in what I believe is a peak insulator. Now at the top there we've got this dirty great big drip tip, which you would think is big enough, but no, they need to do an even bigger one as well. So this one isn't give that a little bit of lubrication in the old chops. This one isn't kind of shaped in the same way, and since I've washed it, doesn't want to go into the thing at all. But personally, I wasn't a fan of this of that drip tip anyway. I think it looks pretty awful and is huge. This one is more suitable in my opinion. A little scuff there, not entirely sure if that was me or if it came like that, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've been more than happy with that. I mean, this is more than enough for most people, I imagine. So let's take this apart so we can have a little look at the guts. Now what I've done is I have left one of my coils in here so you can see what you've got to play with. Let's take that airflow control off first. So here we've got the barrel itself. Nothing really exciting going on there, just a little ledge for where the AFC kind of goes into, and here for the deck. So as you will see with the top cap, you've only got the option of 3 air holes. You can't do anything else other than 3. So you've got you have to do triple coils unless you want kind of extra air that doesn't really achieve anything. You've got the Triad RDA engraved in there as well, which is a nice little touch. But that's it. That's all on. That's on every one of those sort of solid pieces. But I think they've missed a trick there. They could have had a couple of maybe vertical holes or something like that, which may have worked really nicely if you did want to go just with dual airflow. As I say, the barrel itself, nothing overly exciting. When you do get to choose your airflow though. Let's see if I can do this under camera. There's no knurling or anything on the top of here, so it can be a little bit fiddly, especially to start with, until those O-rings get really lubed up, so to speak. Now then, if I start opening that, you can kind of have one hole open just here, but then if you start opening it a little bit more, you can't have that hole open without starting to open the top and the bottom, and that kind of goes in a similar way for that as well. So you know, it is a big airy monster. Now here is the This is the deck that we've got to play with here. Now it's as I say, a 3-poster, and it does look like it's been in the wars a little bit, and I don't really understand why that is. The peak insulator doesn't appear to have managed to keep up very well at all, to be honest with you. You'll see here that that's not looking too clever in between the positive and the negative. Now this is allegedly designed to 800 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe I saw on their website, which is supposed to be, you know, pretty angry. But in actual fact, what's happened is that started to melt a little bit there, and that's had a good old go at melting in between those two right there. Now what I've done is, these are the sort of coils, I took them out and then realised that I probably should show you what I've been using. And this is the best one that I've found to make it wick well enough and have a really good flavourful vape. And that's got a 3.5mm ID single coil Clapton going on there, with plenty of space between the coil and the centerpiece. So I'm not entirely sure why that is happening, which is a bit of a shame really. Now what I do like here is I think on the original one they sent me, that was because they did send me this let me have a look and see if I can grab it without knocking everything over. They did send me this gold one by accident, because this was actually a prototype apparently. Now with this one itself, I don't think it had the space underneath that we've got on this particular one. Let's see if we can get back into focus here. Why are we out of focus? Come on, stick with me, camera, stay with me. Where are you? Where's the focus? There we go. So we have got some space under there. Now this going up the middle here, that is gold plated as well, so we've got no issues with conductivity at the very least. So that's very good. Now then, if we undo this 510, we do instantly start moving the positive post as well. So it's a non-adjustable 510. However, we do have a slight protrusion there, which may be okay depending on your particular one for hybrid mods. But otherwise, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the kind of the deck that you've got to work with. And they do say, I mean, I've got the blurb up in front of me at the moment, and it does say the Asmodus Triad is on newest RDA and is sure to impress any avid builder. Well, I mean, I've been looking and watching on Instagram and all that sort of stuff. I've not really seen very many exciting coils coming out for this this bad boy, because I can't really see many ways that you can coil it that's very exciting. You don't really have the width there for horizontal coils plus wick, so you do have to go down the vertical route, and that is what this is actually designed for. So all in all, ladies and gentlemen, that is the deck, that is the barrel, and that's the drip tip, and all in all, that is the Asmodus Triad RDA. Let's go back up top. So that was the up close with the Triad, and it is certainly a very funky little RDA. Now they're describing it as a competition RDA, and I guess that's because of the 3 coils as opposed to the 2, maybe, I don't know. I don't think it looks too bad. I think the air choices were a bit of a bad idea, to be honest with you, purely because it's very difficult to really dial it in exactly where you want it, in my opinion. I do think it's a little bit awkward to have any kind of major built in. A lot of the kind of the Instagram and the push about this RDA is for crazy builds and all this sort of good stuff. Well, I don't think that's strictly true, because you are quite limited in space there. And in my opinion, or from the coils that I've been putting in here, if you make them too long, then it has issues kind of being able to wick, because they're vertical, and you can't obviously do a longer coil when it's horizontal. So I think that kind of does give a little bit of an issue. However, as I mentioned in the up close, the best way that I've found to use this is with the coils that I've got in here at the moment, actually, which are 3.5mm ID. Now I have used Claptons in here as well, single core Claptons, and this is coming out at 0.36. That's 26 gauge N80 for the core, and then 35 gauge Canthel for the outside. And I think it does, as you saw in the up close, it does kind of fill out the space in there nicely, but it also does give us plenty of room to get a bunch of wick in there and all that sort of good stuff as well. Where's my juice? I just need to re-drip. Now I have found that the dripping down just down the drip tip is kind of cool, because it does tend to sort of spray out a little bit and get everywhere it needs to be. However, nah, it's still a little bit awkward. I'm not a huge fan of vertical coils, it must be said. So yeah, but when it comes to the 3.5mm ID, for me, that's given me enough wick and enough saturation where I can vape it quite a lot, and I can vape the wicks dry without sort of dry burning too quickly. And so yeah, that's worked out really well for me. These 3 coils in here at the moment are at 0.36. Obviously I'm using the Minikin V2 at the moment, which is coming in for its own review, and so far I'm quite impressed with this little puppy. Anyway, let's have a little vape. So it certainly does blow some clouds, but I mean, if we open this airflow all the way open, for instance, that is just air for days. I mean, I'm at 77.7 watts at the moment, and we'll have a little toot. For me personally, although it may not look like it on camera, having a slightly restricted airflow does give you a denser cloud and adequate airflow for most applications, certainly for how I vape. So all in all, let's have a little look. The first people in the UK I saw, a bit vapey in it. First people in the UK that I saw have this was Evolution Vaping. When I googled it, they are selling them for $39.99. They only have the steel color currently. I don't know if they are going to be bringing out this sort of the gold color that they sent me by mistake. That's not even coming out as gold, is it really? It does look quite swish, and I think it does look quite sexy, but I don't know if this is going to be coming out or not. I imagine probably so. But yeah, so 40 quid for it. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. 40 quid for something that gives you not a whole bunch of options when it comes to coils, and how you're going to coil it, in my opinion, seems a little bit rough. I would love to have seen, if they'd have had this with, first of all, with the option of only going dual coil as opposed to triple, and also if they'd have given you the option, you know, it seems to be quite popular at the moment to have interchangeable decks and all that sort of stuff, and with the way this is, I would like to have seen something like that come out of it. That would have been pretty cool, in my opinion. So something that gives you a normal kind of 2-poster or something would have been great in here, and then it would have given you the option of being able to go 3-coil if you really wanted to. So I think that would have been really, really good. But no, as it is, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's going to be one of those things where if you just like lashings of airflow and you're happy with kind of big wide single vertical coils, vertical coils in your deck, then crack on, fill your boots, you'll probably love it. So yeah, and all in all, I think it looks pretty reasonable, and it doesn't vape badly at all once you get your setup inside it proper. But that slight restriction for me gives me everything that I want, and for that I am using it with kind of mainly just sort of one and a little tiny incy bit of the 2 top and bottom holes open. Obviously that's the same on all 3 holes, and that's how I've been enjoying it, and especially with that 3.5mm ID Clapton side of things going in there, that's been the best coil that I've found for making this a little corker of an RDA. So that's about it. That's all I can tell you, I'm afraid, guys and girls. Thank you very much for watching. This has been the Asmodus Triad. I've been Dean the Vaping Biker, and it is clouds for days. So I'll see you on the next one. Have it very large.